Hello, everybody. Um, it's gonna be quick to the point. Um, this is the time for you to step out on faith. Okay, this is the time for you to step out on faith, and I say that because the way our world is switching over, right? Our world is switching over. Our world is reshaping. The things that we used to know are dismantling, right? We have to look for other forms of stability to keep us going. Okay, so being that we have to look for other stability to keep us going, we have to now resort back to the basics. And by us resorting back to the basics, it's gonna crumple a lot of falseness. Like it's gonna crumple a lot of falsehood. And I want to say that because back to the basics is where you start from ground level. You start from scratch. You start from the beginning. And when you start from the beginning, there are tools and and there are tools and resources that you need in order for you to start back at the beginning, for you to have a clean slate, because you're transforming from one area to the next. Like you're transforming from one comfortability to another one, right? You're stepping out of one structure, but now you're trying to build the next structure. And when you're trying to build the next structure, your next structure main thing is to have foundation. Okay, because a lot of the structures that we lived in prior to this time wasn't built on foundation. Like it was built on decoration. Okay, it was built on how it looked. It was built on how people viewed it. It was built on how much money it costs. It was built on like how much you get over on somebody. Like that is what our particular structure was built on previously. But now, since everything is changing, you have to step out on faith because you're going to do something. You're going to do something during this time that you never did before. That's why you have to step out on faith. You're going to experience something that you never experienced before. That's why you have to step out on faith. Because the old structure that you're living in, the old paradigm that you grew up in, is too uncomfortable now. You can't even fake it now. You can't stomach it now. Just the thought of you thinking about it is gonna make you throw up now. You can't stomach it. So being that even after all these years, all this time, all these decades, all these memories, everything you try to stomach because you thought this is how life is supposed to be, right? But you now understanding, the more you stomach it, the more you're trying to swallow it, the more you try to digest it, it's literally making you sick. So you have to step out on faith now. And how stepping out on faith looks like, it's like literally you have to leave that structure, whatever structure is making you sick. Okay? You have to leave that structure to go out to build a new one. And like I said, a new one takes time. So if you were in a structure where you was there for years and you played pretend and you made it seem like everything is fine, now you being in that structure, it is not going to feel good. It is not going to feel good. It's not going to be fine. It's not going to hit the way it used to hit, right? So being that it's not going to hit the way it used to hit, you had to now rely on honesty. Being honest to yourself. You had to now rely on what you thought was going to be isn't. You have to be authentic in your space, in your center right now, because your foundation needs something to hold on to, because you don't have the decoration no more. Because like I said, the foundation and the decoration is totally having the real foundation and having it look decorated really nice is two totally different things. Now we're leaning on foundation. The government is changing. People in relationships are changing. People family dynamics is changing. People are changing in their career goals. People are, and the literally is like everybody is kind of like either they're changing or they know they're over it. It's like they're over it. Like a lot of people hadn't even got to the point of stepping out on faith yet, but they just know that they are over it. Hello. They know they are over it. They know they are over the relationship. They're over the job. They're over the government. They over, what they supposed to do and how they supposed to feel. They're over it. And the reason why they're over it is because that part of our reality was based on decoration. It was not based on foundation. That's the reason why we are over it. So by you being over it, you have to step out on faith. And how faith looks like, faith is like that space. I don't know how I can describe it. Faith is that space of being out there in the open. Literally. Because you don't have that thing in the past to fall back on. Even if it made you uncomfortable, you still stomach it. But now you can't sit here because you're literally making yourself sick. Like you know this. And during this time, it's a time of accountability too. It's a time of accountability too. Because there is nothing that you're going to do that you don't know what you're doing. Because you're going to feel it instantly. You want to know why you're going to feel it instantly? Because there is a big shift change in our dynamic. There's a big shift change in our dynamic. There's a big shift change in our world. There's a big shift change in our society. So you can pretend all you want to, but the more you pretend right now, the more you're going to hurt yourself. The more you're going to be uncomfortable. The more you are not going to make decisions based on the greater good of yourself. That pretending is going to be over. Okay, so being that the pretending is over, you got to step out on faith. And how that looks like, faith is like an area where you know that you're going to be safe, right? Like you don't know what's in front of you, you don't know what's on the side of you, you already know what's in the back of you, but in the back of you, you don't want to be there, right? In the back of you, you do not want to be there. You just know I have to get out of what I used to be in. Okay, so when you step out on what you used to be in, that is where faith comes into place. A lot of people don't rely on faith because faith does not give you the next step. Like you have to stand in faith for you to get the next step. But people think, you're coming out of a situation, you're coming out of something that's uncomfortable, you're coming out of something that you don't want to be in. And so as soon as you step outside, you're going to have this plan, you're going to have this done, you're going to do this, and that's going to go that way. That's not how faith works. Hold on, y'all. That is not how faith works. Faith is literally like a holding area. Faith is literally a holding area. And then while you sitting there standing on faith, the things that you have that you don't even know that you cultivated within all the years of being in this situation, you cultivated certain things, right? You cultivated patience. You cultivated understanding. You cultivated awareness, right? You cultivated, things that that's gonna make you stronger. And yes, faith is believing, but the point of believing is you have to know that it's going to be okay. So many people don't rely on faith because how this society works. We supposed to have it all written down. Like we supposed to have it all planned out. Faith don't have no plan. Faith doesn't have any plans. You just have to believe and know once you step out on faith, that is going to be your comfort zone. And once you step out on faith, God is going to provide you with the things that you need. And how God provides you with the things that you need, you're going to have to be in a place where you're not relying on yourself. What I mean by that, because you don't have the steps. Because if you had the steps, it will be done, right? If you knew how to work it out, it will be done. If you knew how to make it right, it will be right. Faith is literally sitting back and let God, let's say Jesus take the wheel, let God take the wheel. Okay, God, well, clearly, I don't know what's going on. I just know some things need to change, and I'm letting you guide me. And how you are guided throughout faith. You're guided throughout faith by, being more aware, being in silence, like standing still. A lot of times we can't stand still. A lot of times we have to be so occupied by things that does not serve us. Now, they might be fun. Yes. You might be cute. Yes. You might have a great time doing the things that you want to do. But when you're standing out on faith and and you know that things have to change, you have to refrain from those things. Not because they're evil or not because, they're not important, but by you standing out on faith, you need another sense of privacy between you and the Creator. Okay? You need another sense of privacy between you and the Creator. You need another sense of sacredcy between you and the Creator. Okay? Jeez. And that sacredcy is where you're going to get the information that you need to keep on going. It's going to be that sacredcy is where you're going to get the fuel in order for you to keep on moving. That sacredcy is going to be the point where your discernment is going to be at a certain level, that's the only thing that you're paying attention to. Okay, that's why when your life is changing and you have to revert back over to another source of foundation, you have to stand still. You building a whole nother foundation. You're not doing the things that you used to. Because the more you stay in that cycle, the more you start saying, oh, this is who I am. No, but this is what I do. Okay, that's fine. Be that. That is your choice. That is your free will. You can do, say, move, and be who you want to be. But understand, the more you stay in the same spaces, the more uncomfortable you're going to be. And I don't care how you decorate it. You're not going to be able to decorate it during this time. Everything is changing over. The government dismantling, relationships dismantling. There are people in relationships 10, 15, 5, 20, 25 years are all of a sudden saying, you know what? Yeah, we pretended for long enough. Something isn't right. We pretended for long enough. It's time for us to go. People are literally looking at their jobs they've been on for over 10 years. So you know what? I'm used to being here. The stability is here because I know it's here. But I think this place is really stressing me out. Like, I think I can't stay here anymore. I feel uncomfortable. I don't know what I'm going to do. I just get, because we have to revert back to the basics. And what do we have in the basics? Even when you're talking about your living situations, do you know how many people are now thinking about not only like living off a grid, but just not paying rent at all? When have you ever heard a working person that is supposed to have the ability to, live substantially and pay rent, because that was the point of you working, right? Oh, I work so I can pay my bills. Now, people who are working cannot pay their bills. Time is changing. Time is changing. They are eliminating the space between poverty and richness. Because at first it was a middle class. If you wasn't poor, but you wasn't rich, but you was able to survive. You fed your kids, you was able to live comfortably. You didn't have a Bentley or a Jag, but you had a nice transportation car, you had insurance, you had a little stuff saved up. You wasn't traveling to Italy, but you can go to Vegas, and y'all went to New York and Florida. Now that is over. That is done. Those days are over and done. And by people are feeling the outcome of that, they are over with done of paying anything because they reverting back to the basics. They reverting back to where, we all lived on one compound. Or they all lived, one family lived in the same home. People are literally have to barter with each other now, especially due to the food stamps and things are getting cut off. We're going to have to rely more on each other as a community than we ever did before, because we have to go back to the basics. That's where we started. We have to go back to the basics. This is being dismantled. I have never seen so many churches, so many people standing up right now to help the people who, in my area, because I stay in Los Angeles, that's willing to help the people who are now, the families who are suffering because they don't have any food assistance. This how it used to be. This what we used to do. This what we used to do as a community. We used to look for each other as a community. We didn't let each other starve as a community because we are going back to the basics. We are going back to the basics. There are going to be some relationships that you see that is going to dismantle the whole visionary idea of what marriage, quote unquote, marriage looks like. Because the person might not be the prettiest. The woman might not be the prettiest. She might not have the best body. The man probably don't have all that money. He probably, suffering, surviving, and all this other stuff. But the love that they share from each other is going to break the bonds of what people think they should be. And people are not going to focus on how they look and what they have. They're going to start focus on the realness. They're going to start focusing on the authenticity. How does this person love me? I'm not leaving this person. I hear what you say, and now I hear that they don't look how you think they should look, but the love that they give me and the freedom that they give me and the spirit and how they spiritually love me, I ain't going to let that go because you think they should look a certain way. Then you're going to have the other space where, yeah, I know what you said. I know they don't mark every box, and I know this person is getting this, but how this person protects me and honest to me and willing to make sacrifices for me and love me like nobody else love me. I don't care what you say. I don't care about none of that. That doesn't mean anything. You want to know why? Because we reverted back to the basics. Because back in the basics, we didn't have those things to rely on. Who grandmama was a 10? I'm just talking about like in an actual physical sense of self. Whose grandmama was a 10? Who grandmama had a BBL? Now, this ain't nothing to go against BBLs, but I'm just saying, people in society now will literally, oh, you don't have a tight stomach, or you don't have a BBL, or you don't have plastic surgery, or you don't look like them, or your hair ain't long like that, or you're not worthy of love. Who grandmama was a 10? Everybody had no 10 grandmamas. Now, some people had some 10. There are some people that was born with what they said the eliteness of DNA. Like everybody in their family is beautiful. They just got a beautiful family. Some people have been blessed with that. But And the majority of the people was not blessed with that. You was either cute, average, or you were just really loving and really nice. And there's nothing wrong with that. But we have lost the focus on what's real. We lost the focus of what's real. We lost the focus of how we need to present ourselves to feed us spiritually, not to feed our ego. We done did that. We know how to do that very well. We know how to look apart. We know how to buy this. We know how to frown down on people because they're not in the same job position as we are. We know how to look down on somebody because they don't look like you. And we know how to look down on relationships because you look this way and they look that way. So how can they get somebody that look like that? We all know how to do that. That's been easy for us to do. But the thing that we have lost the basics. Like I always revert back to your grandma and your granddaddy. What money did your granddaddy have? Your granddaddy knew how to survive. Your granddaddy had a source of survival. Your granddaddy can build stuff. Okay? Your granddaddy made it work. He may not have a job, but your granddaddy can build a house up front. Your granddaddy can build a house by itself. Okay? Your granddaddy can able to go in there and plant and farm, and he can't go to the store and get them peas and greens, but he gonna show you how to grow them. Cause y'all ain't gonna be, cause y'all gonna eat. Okay, we have to go back to that. Because even if you don't get food stamps, you're gonna suffer. Everybody's gonna suffer here. People, the grocery stores are gonna lose money. The fast food places are going to lose. The more money they lose, the higher the prices is going to go. And being that even the working people are not willing to pay these higher prices, people are going to be laid off. No matter, it's depending on how long this goes. People are going to get laid off. Supermarkets going to make less money. The truck drivers that drive the supplies and the produce to the supermarkets are going to get laid off. The warehouses and the shipment places that hold these foods are not going to be, or the people that work on these shipyards, they are not going to get the service that they used to be getting. It's going to affect all of us. You want to know why? Because we have to revert back to the basics. We have to revert back to the foundation. And while you're reverting back to the foundation, you have to step out on faith. You have to be faithful that, yeah, I used to be in that space, but that space isn't working for me. I'm going to just rely on what God gave me to rely on. I'm relying on the truth. I don't rely on the love. I don't rely on the honesty. I'm going to rely on being solid. I'm going to rely on protecting those that I love. That's what I'm going to rely on. Okay? Step out on faith. Because the more you stay in those situations, oh, I'm fine. Oh, I'm fine. Oh, I ain't wrong. I'm fine. I'm fine. Okay? You're going to hurt yourself every time. You're going to hurt yourself every time because there's going to be something that you used to do that you can't do no more. And this is in every aspect of your situation. There's going to be something that you can't do no more, that you could do, but you cannot do no more. And why there is something that you could do that you can't do no more, you would have to step back, say, wait a minute, hold on. I know I've been doing that, and I know I was doing that, but doing this to myself, I am hurting myself. I am damn near offing myself because I'm stuck in this stubbornness. I'm stuck in being, this egotistical side of myself because no, I've been doing this for 30, 40 years. I'm going to keep on doing this. What do you mean I can't do it? And you're going to suffer. You're going to dismantle and you're going to crumble and you're not going to be able to survive in this next section of this next season of life that we're experiencing. You're going to fall by the wayside like everything else is falling by the wayside. It's time to step out on faith. You're going to be in a space where how things look different. The more The more you hold on to the things that's different, the more that you hold on to the things that's different, the more you hold on to the things that's being erased, you're going to be erased right along with those things. It's time to get back to the basics. I love y'all. Have a good one.